Lead Gang, Spit It Out. Powered by Bitu, top one English speaking app.
We know depression through metaphors. Poems, paintings, songs, and movies all have depicted depression since ancient times. Half the purpose of art is to describe such iconic states. Depressions nowadays, the word that we throw around so easily. That word is to use to describe anything from a bad day to an overwhelming inability to live life. But as anyone with depression knows, it is much more than any one word can describe. It slowly takes over a person's life until they can't remember where it all began. It creeps up on you and builds up over time. At first, small, unnoticeable things change, which leads to a big one. Then, out of nowhere, that notorious black cloud appears in the sky. The effort to do the small things is huge. Each day is a struggle for you. Every morning, it gets harder and harder for you to get out of bed. Every night, you have trouble going to sleep. Even those kind of thoughts haunt you in your dreams. It is so low that it seems to take over, making you feel overwhelmed in a way that you couldn't have planned for. The pressure to do anything is even bigger. People always say, you should talk to someone, tell someone. But how? How do you put words to something so hard to understand yourself? As for me, I had always thought myself tough, and out of nowhere, I fell into a deep hole. Over the period for about 2 months, when several problems came into my life, I fell into a deep depression. It all started when schoolwork became harder and harder. After years and years of getting good grades without much effort, I certainly had to work hard, and the requirement was much more complicated. I stopped trying after a while because I was sure I could not do it. My friends were all getting ahead of me, and I didn't know what I want in the future, and I felt lost and confused. I lost all motivation, and I thought life would get easier if I just gave up and didn't do anything with the hard things. I got more and more unhappy with myself over time, and it started to affect other parts of my life, especially the relationships with my friends and my family. I felt pushed away and alone. My feelings got stronger, and I fell deeper and deeper into the dark hole of depression. I kept smiling and acting happy, but on the inside, I was yelling for someone to see how sad I was. Sadness turned into anger, and I got angry at the world, at myself, and at everyone else. I started taking my anger on my family, and I spent a lot of time in my room listening to music by myself, just to escape the world. And one day when I woke up, I thought perhaps I had a stroke, because I laid in bed completely frozen, looking at the ceiling and thinking I should call for help. But I couldn't reach out the phone and pick up the phone and dial. And after an hour lying and staring at the phone, it certainly rang. And oh my God, it was my friend. And he said, I noticed that you've been strange. What's wrong? I bursted out into tears and started sharing with my friend. When I finally started to talk about what was going on, things started to get better. And suddenly, it didn't seem so bad after all. I told my friend what was going on, and after crying and feeling sad, I realized that people did care about me, and it felt like a huge load has been taken off my shoulder. As I slowly got over my depression, I learned a lot about life. It isn't easy, but that's not the point. It's the hard times, that things we go through, that make us better and stronger. When I think about it now, I can't get over how stupid I was for not talking to someone sooner. I was not ready to deal with everything that happened to me, and my friend thought that I could make things better, but I just didn't know where to start. I learned how important it is to let a depressed person know that they are not trained for feeling that way. In a lot of ways, I'm glad that I went through this, because I now know that feeling sad or depressed is understandable. And I know that If a friend or a family member is depressed, the best thing to do for them is to help them in any way that you can. Be their friend, hug them a lot, but leave the medical work to the professional. Try not to leave the sadness change the ways you live your own life. It is only you who can change yourself.
Hai cục pin mà lo.
Nhỉ.
Ok, bắt đầu.
Vâng, chuẩn bị nha. 3, 2, 1, bắt đầu.